Hello again, card community. It is Tuesday today, day 3 of our vacation trip through the 1978 Top Set. Moving on from this page, we have Rod Gilbreth. Don't know anything about Rod Gilbreth. Marty Patton, I remember the name. Can't say much about him. Mike Cubbage, I've heard the name before, don't know him. Pedro Borbon, long-time quality starter. Nothing special, but quality. Chris Spear, always laugh when I see the name Chris Spear. Not a name you see too often, but as I've been collecting a lot of older sets, I keep seeing Chris Spear as a player. And normally I wouldn't necessarily stop at Chris Spear, but it just so happens that I know a guy today in my life named Chris Spear, so this one always catches me. And here's a guy I've never heard of. I've never heard of Chris Spear in my life, but he played a long time and a lot of games. And yet you kind of wonder, how in the world did you not hear about this guy ever? Because he's been around forever. He had a quality career. I had never heard of him. Just saying. Jerry Martin was a Philly at one time. Bruce Keeson, I remember, is a decent player. Jerry Taub, don't know. Don Gullett, remember him, a long-time quality pitcher. Stuck around a long time. Joe Ferguson, quality backup for a number of different teams. Al Fitzmaurice, no idea. Manny Mota, one of those guys who just seemed to play forever, like Manny Mendoza. Manny Mota was always in baseball, always there. Leo Foster, have no idea. Al Raboski, the Mad Hungarian, they called him, because he got so intense and insane when he was out there pitching. He pitched for a number of teams as a quality reliever. Wayne Nordhagen, no idea. Mickey Stanley, I've heard of. Dick Pole, no idea. And Herman Franks was the Cubs manager back in the day. Herman Franks was the Cubs manager when the Cubs and Phillies played that crazy 23-2 game in '79. So this is a couple years before that, but that's Herman Franks. Tim McCarver, longtime Phillies catcher and Cardinals catcher. Him and Bob Gibson are attached to the hip. Terry Whitfield, Rich Dower, Juan Beniquez, Dyer Miller, don't know a lot of these guys' names. Gene Tennis was on the A's teams back in the 70s that won a lot of World Series. By this time, he'd been traded to the Padres. Here's Pete Vukovich, who would go on to win the Cy Young Award with the Brewers in '82. Barry Bonnell, Bob McClure. We got an Expos team card and Rick Burleson. This Rick Burleson card brings back a memory to me. It's one of the first cards I sent out through the mail, autograph. If you want to get some good autographs, really easy, go to the team pages of the minor leagues, see who all the coaches are in the minor leagues. Most of your minor league coaches are former players, managers, coaches, and they got nothing better to do than sign autographs for you. So I usually send a lot to the clubs. The minor league clubs, I'll send cards to get autographed. And Rick Burleson actually sent one back, ballpoint pen on this card years ago. Dan Dreesen, quality member of the Big Red Machine. Larry Christensen, longtime Phillies pitcher, mediocre at best, but he was there for a long time. Frank White, quality longtime teammate of George Brett on the Royals. Dave Gultz, I know, was a quality pitcher for a long time. Greg Nettles had some wonderful years with the Yankees, obviously, and then Padres when they went to the '83 World Series. Don Kirkwood, don't know. And Steve Swisher, if you know Nick Swisher, Yankee and Red Sox, fun guy, got to a couple World Series. This is his pop. That's Steve Swisher, Nick Swisher's dad. Jim Kern, Dave Collins, don't know anything about. Jerry Royce. Jerry Royce has the distinction of being the guy that I think Mike Schmidt took deep the most in his career. Joe Altobelli, hate Joe Altobelli, nothing against Joe, but he was the manager of the Orioles in '83 when they beat my Phillies in the World Series, Joe Altobelli. Hector Cruz, John Hiller, Dodgers team card, Bert Campaneris. Bert Campaneris had the distinction one time in the A's. With the A's, I remember, I guess they were out of it at this time, but he played one game. He played every position during the game, Bert Campaneris did. And Tim Hosley. You got Rudy May, Danny Walton, Jamie Easterly, Sal Bando, longtime quality player for a number of teams. Bob Shirley, Doug Alt, rookie cup card. Never heard of Doug Alt. How many times do you see a gold cup or a rookie star card and then years later you go, who in the world was that? Doug Alt. Gil Flores, Wayne Twitchell. I always remember this Wayne Twitchell card because every time I see it, I always get him confused with another guy. I can't remember who it was, but and I always look at like this pose. It's like you can see they kind of caught him in the middle of a pitch. But I mean, take a good look at this card for a second. I don't think I've ever seen a pitcher with that motion in a delivery. I don't know, maybe they just caught it at the opportune moment, but it looks so weird to me, it always did. And then you got Pudge, Carlton Fisk right next to him, so there you go. With this page, Randy Lurch, longtime Philly, Royal Stillman, check out that name. Royal Stillman. Fred Norman, longtime pitcher, Freddie Patek. Freddie Patek had the distinction of being one of the shortest guys to ever play baseball. Take a look at this bio. 5'4" up there. You see that height? 5'4". Freddie Patek was, but he was a long-time quality middle infielder for a long time. Always usually with the Royals, but I think he played for a couple other teams. And he was a solid, dependable utility infielder for a number of teams. And hey, even at 5'4", he played baseball. Good for him. Dan Ford, Bill Bonham, Bruce Boisclair, no idea, Enrique Romo, and then Bill Verdon, longtime manager for a number of teams. He was a manager of the Astros in '80 when we took them out to make the World Series. Hooray! Buddy Bell, Gus Bell's kid, and I think Buddy is David Bell's manager. David Bell of the Rangers these days. I think he's David Bell's father. I don't know for certain. Eric Rasmussen, don't know, Yankees team card. Omar Moreno, longtime quality player. Randy Moffett, Steve Yeager, the catcher for the Dodgers all those great years of the 70s and early to mid 80s. Steve Yeager. Ben Ogilvie was a star player for the Brewers soon after his start with the Tigers here. Kiko Garcia, longtime middle infielder for the Orioles. And then Dave Hamilton. What are we up to here into the 80s? Checklist card. Willie Horton, longtime Tiger. Longtime Tiger, retired number for the Tigers. Here he is. The first year he was away from the Tigers, he played for the Rangers. He was a designated hitter by then. Take a look at those stats. I thought he had a lot more hits than he did. He only had 1,640. I'm not sure how many years he played after this. He had 277 home runs. He was good enough, though, to get his number retired by the Tigers. So, I mean, say what you want about Willie Horton in general. At least the Tigers thought enough of him to retire his number. Gary Ross, Gene Richards, thought he was with the A's at one time. Maybe it was just the Padres. Mike Willis, Larry Parrish. I always get Larry Parrish and Lance Parrish mixed up. Larry Parrish. Bill Lee, the spaceman. Look at that. Looking nice and young back there. Biff Pacorba. Love that name. Biff Pacorba. Some backup catcher no one's ever heard of. Oh, man. Warren Brewstar, a young pitcher for the Phillies in '78. He actually did make it to our World Series team, had a role there. Tony Aramis, longtime quality player. Whitey Herzog of the Royals before he went to the Cardinals and became the Hall of Fame manager he is now. Joe Morgan, Hall of Famer. Bobby Schultz, Cubs team card. I always wondered if all the team cards that are out there during this time when I was collecting, the Cubs teams always seem to have these headshots. Every other team we've seen so far has been that scene with them all lined up on the bench. But every Cubs card I've ever seen, team card, for some reason, back in these mid-80s, mid-70s to late 80s, or early 80s, I should say, the Cubs were always just a group of faces, and I never understood why. I don't know why. If somebody out there has the answer, please share with me. I'm dying to know. Sam Hines, John Miller, Rico Carty, longtime great player. And then Joe Niekro is Phil's brother. Glenn Borgman, Jim Rooker. Jim Rooker, great story about Jim Rooker. If you don't know Jim Rooker, he's a Pirates broadcaster. I think still to this day, I think he's still doing it. I might be wrong. But late 90s, or I'm sorry, late 80s, early 90s, Jim Rooker had retired. He's a broadcaster in Pittsburgh with the Pirates. Or no, I'm sorry, he was with the Pirates, but they were in Philadelphia. All right. So they're in Philadelphia, and the Pirates go up in this game. I want to say they're up like 10-0 in the first inning. And the Phillies start chipping their way back throughout the game. And at one point during the game, Jim Rooker snidely goes, you know, if they lose this game, I'll walk home. And that was like before the Phillies had but like a couple runs. Well, the next thing you know, the Phillies win like 13-11 in extra innings. It was crazy. And Jim Rooker, somebody called him out on him saying, well, you said you'd walk home. And what he did, to his credit, he didn't just walk back from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh after the game or something like that. No, he turned it into a charity thing. He made big publicity of the fact that he was going to do this. A lot of people gave him money for doing it. I don't know how long it took him, but him and a posse of his, with a lot of news cameras following him along the way, a lot of reporters, he actually walked the trip from Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium all the way out to Pittsburgh's Three Rivers Stadium that summer, or that fall. He did it. He actually did it. So kudos to you, Jim Rooker, for sticking to your word. Cliff Johnson, I think Cliff Johnson, if I remember correctly, had the career record for pinch hit home runs. I think Matt Stairs passed him. Cliff Johnson, Don Sutton Hall of Famer, Jose Baez, Greg Minton, Andy Etchenbarren, Paul Lindblad, Mark Belanger. Mark Belanger was a longtime utility outfielder. We're going to stop there today. I'm trying to go a little quicker. I don't want to take up more than like 10 or 15 minutes on these videos. We are through 300 cards, people. Hope you enjoy your Tuesday. I'm hoping I'm having some fun in the sun. I'll see you tomorrow.